Hey everybody. So my guest today is Yannick Veys. He's the co-founder of Hypefury, a tool to grow and monetize your Twitter audience. They grew from an MRR of just $5,000 into currently $11,000 in just a couple of months. So as always, we would like to hear more of the founding story and the strategies that accelerated their growth success. Yannick, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, man. Excited to be here. Thanks, Mike.
Sure, my pleasure. Here we go. Can you tell us more about who you are and Hypefury? How would you describe it?
Yeah, so who am I? I started my online journey at a digital marketing agency. I worked there for a couple of years, and then I quit my job, became a freelancer. And after a couple of years, that became a bit boring, and I wanted to do something else. And I met a guy who wanted to start a business, and we actually started the Dutch version of Uber for service professionals. So it's called Sufi, and I scaled that to 3 million ARR. And then, thought that was great. We were doing well, and I eventually, sold my shares, and now I'm here at Hypefury.
Wow, cool journey. So, what's the exact business model of Hypefury, and how is it helping your customers?
Yeah, so Hypefury, when it started, it was just a simple scheduler where you could at least schedule normal tweets and threads, and right now I think we're more like a tool where we really help people to also monetize their social media accounts, their Twitter account. And so people come for us to have a normal scheduler, but the people who stay, they see the benefits of using us because it's just a lot easier to create tweets and to monetize your following with us. That's I think the most important part of why people stick around.
Sounds like a great product. Tell us, how did you start a business? Take us back from the idea to launch.
Yeah, so I actually didn't start Hypefury. I came along a couple of months after it was started. Sammy Dindane started this back in August 2019, where he tweeted, is there a scheduling app where you can also schedule threads? And there was none actually. So Buffer or Hootsuite or all the big guys, they just didn't do this. And the moment he realized that there weren't any scheduling tools that did threads, just specifically Twitter threads, he decided to build the product. And he was already involved in, a couple of groups. He was doing some fitness coaching and stuff like that. So he met a couple of people who were pretty active on Twitter, and they became Hypefury's beta customers. And I think I think it was December 2019, he posted a topic on indie hackers on the forum, asking for somebody who could help him do marketing and help him grow Hypefury. And I was one of the people who responded. And I was, I wasn't selling him any stories. A couple of people responded, and one was like, "Yeah, we're going to scale this to 1 million ARR in a year," and all big stories. And I'm just like a normal dude from the Netherlands who's pretty down to earth. And I would just say, "Yeah, it's going to take a while, but we're going to do it step by step." And I told him a bit about my experience, and I did a 2-month, you could call it an internship, so I worked on Hypefury's growth for 2 months for free. So I took a risk, and Sammy took a risk. We got to know each other a little bit, and it clicked, and now I'm a partner in the business. That's how it all started.
Amazing founding story. The typical stretching my own itch, I guess.
Yep.
So, are you bootstrapped, or have you taken any VC or funding?
Yeah, so no funding whatsoever. So partly just funded by our customers, and we're not taking any salary, and we put some money in ourselves. So it's just, we're growing this with our own money and with our customers' money. Yeah.
Love that. Growing with the revenue of your customers.
Yeah.
So talking about customers and users, how did you get your first users to the product?
Yeah, so I guess we use a little bit of scarcity tactics. So I wasn't around back then, but what Sammy basically did was, he said, okay, I'm going to build this Twitter app, a thread scheduling app. And he was in these groups. He like the fitness and a couple of more sales focused groups, I know, with Rogue Wealth and stuff like that. And there he basically said, hey, do you want to join the private beta? And he had a limited amount of spots. So, whenever you use like the scarcity tactic, people will perceive something as more valuable. So I guess that also worked. So a bunch of people jumped on the Hypefury train. And during the beta, people were just getting really excited. We were, looking at what do they want to have as a feature set, what value can we bring, and they spread the word. And from those initial, 10 plus beta users, we just we grew from their word of mouth.
And when did you find out that the product was valid and you were really onto something?
Yeah, it's probably in the early stages already, because there are a lot of social media tools, a lot of them, but none of them really focus primarily on Twitter. So you can post to Twitter with I guess every social media tool, but not all social media tools go like an inch wide, but a mile deep into the Twitter sphere, with retweets and evergreen and auto plugs and stuff like that. And I think that's why a lot of people like Hypefury, because it focuses on one channel as opposed to doing a little bit of every social media platform.
So we heard what you were doing to get users to the product at first, but what are you doing right now to get users on board?
Yeah, so I was looking into our analytics. So right now we have like 50 to 55% of people that join Hypefury are from organic search. And, we get about 2,000 to 3,000 organic searches on our brand name per month. And then, we have a bunch of articles. So we create anywhere between 1 and 6 articles a month, I'd say, on very specific topics where we think this is something that our potential customer would search for. So about 50-55% of that comes from organic search. And like the brand terms, people search for Hypefury because they hear about us, but also because if you click on a tweet that's been tweeted with a scheduler, or even with anything, you can see this was tweeted via Twitter for web, or for via Android, but it also shows Hypefury. So the more people jump on our train, the more people will see our name. And one other very successful tool, I think, that's very undervalued is like our affiliate program. So when you have happy users, they're very happy to talk about you. But if you give them extra incentives to talk about you, then it really jumpstart your growth. And you can look at like an affiliate marketing program as having your own marketing agency, because they just do so much stuff for you that you couldn't do if you're just like self-funded or bootstrapped. They create a lot of YouTube videos, they create a lot of blog posts, they do so much work for you, and it just helps get your name out and helps your growth.
What would you say is your most valuable lesson or fail up to this point?
Yeah, good question. I think, a couple of things. So you never know what feature really is like something that people will stick around for. So the inspiration feature, that's one of our most used feature, and it's really simple. It just looks back at your previous tweets and gives them back to you, the best ones for you to create new tweets on, and that's it's a pretty simple feature, but it has so much value. Whereas we've created the Gumroad sales feature that's for a specific audience, but we were expecting a lot more people to use it. So we have, I think, hundreds of people who have connected their Gumroad account, but not hundreds of people who've actually used our Gumroad sales feature. And so you expect some features to move the needle more than others, but in reality, it's just a combination of a lot of things. And I think, that's important. And on the marketing side, I think we should focus even more on one side on content creation. I think we have a lot of work there to do still. Our blog we're finally getting some more traction on our blog, which is good, but I think we still have a world to win on YouTube. Our affiliates are creating YouTube videos about us, but we have barely any videos online about how Hypefury works and stuff like that. I think there's a big win. And last thing is that right now we're still on our homepage and our pricing page. We're still focusing a lot on the features, but we're not bringing our tool to life. So what we're planning on doing is just show the life of a tweet. So before you get to create your tweet, what happens? You have to be reminded, hey, your queue is empty. You don't have any tweets scheduled. So that's something where we can help with. And then once you're in our app, if you go to Twitter or to TweetDeck, then the first thing you think is, okay, well, what am I going to tweet about? Well, we help with that. We generate quotes for you. So we help in the inspiration phase, even before you create a tweet. And then we can just walk you through what happens when you tweet, how we can increase the longevity of your tweet. And if we can really visualize that, I think that's a really powerful method to getting people to try Hypefury, because now it's really a little bit too feature based as opposed to bringing our tool to life.
So at what stage is Hypefury right now in terms of revenue?
Yeah, so we have a Baremetrics open dashboard at hypefury.baremetrics.com, and right now we're at 11K MRR, and we're growing at about 10 to 15% month over month. So it's a pretty decent growth rate. We would like to keep it above 15%. We've seen quite a bit of churn, and on the one hand, you can't do a lot against that. It's also a fact that a lot of people use us, and a lot of people, they just jump off the Twitter train. So it's something that's also part of being connected to a social medium. Everybody has these waves where you go into Facebook, you're going to Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're done with that part of your life. And that's one of the things that happens to us as well. We're not focused on businesses, more like personal brands and just small time, solopreneurs, if you'd say. And these people, they have it's an interesting life where Twitter can be a big part of their life this month, but next month they'll be up to something totally different. So that's something, we have to deal with.
Love it. Great, Yannick. Thanks for sharing the story behind Hypefury. Now, let's wrap it up with a lightning round of 6 questions to inspire others. Before we dive into today's lightning round, let's hear a quick word from a sponsor. Do you want to build your product the best way possible? Listening to user feedback is one of the best ways to do just that. Upvote provides you with feedback boards which you can use internally or share publicly with your users. It also includes a nifty product roadmap. You are getting a 10% discount when you try out their 14-day free trial and subscribe to one of their plans. Use promo code PIRATES and you are all set. Go to upvote.com and start a 14-day free trial. Now, let's go back to the interview. If you would start a SaaS today, what would be the first action to take?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would turn that question a little bit around. Say, is SaaS the correct business to start? Of course, this is a SaaS podcast, so a lot of people want to start a SaaS. But it's the most important thing is. Know what problem you're solving is the critical problem, but also do you have an audience to reach? And that could be solved with a SaaS business. And then, before you jump into the solution, you can look into so many things. It could be a basic Chrome extension that could be your SaaS. So I think it's very important for people who are new to any business that you you don't jump into conclusions. You don't say, hey, I'm going to build an app for this, because that might be your angle to solve the problem, but it might not be the user's angle to solve the problem, or they might not have time to even download the app or use the app. It could be something a lot simpler, or something that's more part of their day-to-day job. And I think that for me is like the essence of starting a business is really dig into what a user wants versus I want to start a SaaS business, or I want to start I want to build an app for this.
Yeah, good point. What are some of your favorite apps and tools on your computer that you can't live without in running daily operations at Hypefury?
Yeah, so I use Todoist quite a bit. So I just have a bunch of stuff on my plate. So I try to, fill Todoist as much as I can. And I see that the more I plan my days and my weeks, the more gets done. So that's like my basic tool where I put everything in. I like Xmind. It's like you can create like graphs and like word clouds and stuff like that. So it's something for me to organize my thoughts and my processes. And so for Hypefury we use Twist. It's it's like a Slack competitor, but it's more based on threads instead of like whole conversations in one channel. I think that's a really important one. And then I personally use Ahrefs a lot. That's like more a SEO tool. So I do quite a bit of research. Where are our competitors at? What are keywords we could focus on that are not too hard to compete on? We're just a new brand with small budgets. So that's a big part for me as well. And I'm in Search Console a lot. So those I think are my main tools that I use.
What's your favorite app on your phone?
Yeah, good question. Well, without lying, I actually use Hypefury's app a lot. I use it more than the desktop version, because what I usually do is when I listen to podcasts, or I'm looking on looking in a book or something like that, that's a moment where I get triggered to create new tweets. And so I usually open my Hypefury app and just schedule new tweets. And besides that, I use Spotify a lot. So I listen to a lot of podcasts on there. So those are my two main apps besides Twitter, I guess, which is also open quite a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine that. So what is your favorite book, which you can also recommend to people that are either starting or about to start a SaaS or a business in general?
Yeah, so I think that Atomic Habits from James Clear is a really important book to read. I think that in the end, whatever you want to build, you need to stay consistent, become productive and stay consistent. And I think what James Clear wrote in his book, it's just such a valuable book to have, because if you can do like great stuff every month, or you could do just necessary stuff every day, and that will trump the great stuff doing every month. Just if you're consistent, if you for me, if I reach out to 10 people every day, if we can if they can write something about us, or if we create like a blog post regularly, that is a lot better than creating one big thing every month. In my mind, that's at least what I've seen in growing this business and other businesses. It's just really the daily grind of having a business. You just need to have the right mindset and the right tools, I guess, to just paddle around, to stay in the trenches and just to keep going.
What SaaS brand do you admire the most?
Yeah, so the obvious one I would say Shopify. I like Shopify a lot. I like Barometrics a lot as well. I think it's, strangely enough, we're paying for a tool that shows almost exactly the same numbers we get straight from the Stripe dashboard, where we're paying quite a bit of money for that. And for us, it's also, an important part of our business, because we want to show people that we're not scammers, that we are a genuine business. And, being an open startup has also brought us a lot. We've had interview requests because we're an open startup. And I think, it's great that a business like Baremetrics makes that possible.
And what about your favorite SaaS person to follow or read? I guess it's someone on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I don't know. So, personally, I've learned a lot from Arvid. He's going to be on your show as well, I heard. So Arvid has made a lot of mistakes, but he's also done a lot of things in a right way. I heard of him. No, I think I listened to like the Indie Hackers podcast about him before I started following on Twitter. And the amount of value that he shared on his path with the Feedback Panel was incredible. And then, from selling his business to creating his blog and his book and his podcast, and now he jumped on a new business with his permanent link, I think it is, for book authors. Yeah, I think he's the real deal. He knows what he's talking about, and he's a lot of great insights on how to build a business.
Yeah, Arvid is great. So finally, where can we learn more about you and Hypefury?
Yeah, so you can find us at hypefury.com. That's hypefury.com, ry.com. Yeah. So if you Google Yannick Veys, which is a bit of a weird name, you'll probably find me as well. On Twitter, that's YANNICK_VEYS. And otherwise, if you just search for Yannick on Twitter, you'll find me somewhere on top of the rankings.